Okay, how's that coming out? Okay, how's that coming out? Hey there, Zephyrus. Trying to get this to pull the screen up. If you'll just give us a minute here, my friend. Always something. I'm not a regular streamer either, so it's not exactly a commonplace occurrence with me. There we go. Looks like we got it now. Is this on the bottom here? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. So we kind of get that settled and make sure everything's recording, and I'll be back in about 30 seconds. We'll see you in just a second. We'll get started. Looking forward to it. I guess it'd be rude for me to stream in like a class of one. Okay, so let's get to it. Zephyrus, where are you coming in from? Okay. Don't know if we'll be able to increase this just a touch to get this up to where we can see what's going on. All right. There we go. I think we can see the clues now. Oklahoma. I lived there. That's right. That's right. That's fantastic. Yeah, Kaimachi Mountains. I remember typing that in. Very few people I can actually relate that with. I don't know anybody from Oklahoma, honestly. Except for the friends I had when I was there. And believe it or not, we're all friends on Facebook these days. It's the craziest thing. And we went back one time when I was younger. I was in the Army at the time. I remember just getting out of officer candidate school, and we were on our way to Fort Knox, where I was going to take my training as an armor officer. And we stopped in Moyers to see my friends and the families and whatnot on my way, and it was a really cool experience. And so the very first one, it's a wonderful sunny day today as well, light rain yesterday. You know, that's really cool. We've had some really nice weather here as well. It has been idyllic. But Germany, it just has I think, beautiful weather year-round, though it does get very cold about 11 months out of the year. Then we get about a month of summer, and even then it's not never really hot. We maybe get 1 or 2 uncomfortably warm days a year, but it's not so terrible at all. In fact, it's quite pleasing. There's just no humidity to speak of, so it's not bad, right? Coming in from Oklahoma. Now, what part again? Issue hurdling boat in discipline with obstacles. I tell you what. Oh, hey, Chris. Chris Johnson, how are you? Ohio. Y'all are very famous for using your definite article, like the Ohio State, right? I just love that. Actually, I think Ohio is just a gorgeous state, but I liked Oklahoma as well. And I'm very, well, if you're down close to the Texas border, then I can tell you, that's where I was at when I was I lived in the Kiamichi Wilderness with my parents when I was, I was a child, probably from like, say, 7 to 11 years old. Then we moved back to Fort Worth. We lived up on the mountain. I mean, we had well water. An electric generator, and 5-gallon can of gas would give us 4 hours of TV at night, and the only power we had kerosene lanterns. I mean, I don't know how old I appear to you, but I'm really not that old. I mean, we're talking, this was pioneer stuff when I was a kid. It was unbelievable, but we were doing it, and my parents were just kind of wanting to get away from whatnot, and everybody was kind of afraid of, the USSR and all that stuff. I think OSU tried to get some sort of trade. So I know. I mean, it is, but it's funny. But I have all these friends. I went to TCU, so I'm obviously a big college football fan. And whenever we play Ohio State, the Ohio State, it's all of my friends who are fans of the Buckeyes. It's just always kind of the Ohio State, right? They really get into it and stuff. And we're, Horned Frogs just like, riff ram bazoo. So it's kind of fun. So this one across, dictator broken by dismissal, rub salt in wound. I'm thinking this is the second, because we've got 3, 3, 4, and 2. I'm thinking this is probably going to be put the boot in. This looks like a put the boot in scenario. So I'm going to put that in there and see what we get. If we don't get very far with it, then I guess that'll just be one of those things. We'll just try to see if it'll work out for us. But issue hurdling boat in discipline with obstacles. And whenever I see obstacles or something like this, I always think to myself, this is when we're going to probably ask for a parkour. And that's an interesting thing that I've learned when doing the Guardian Cryptic. It is just such a difficult, abstrusely so difficult grid. I'm originally from Michigan, the Western Upper Peninsula, so I was not received kindly. I love solving the cryptic, but it took me the longest time to kind of get the hang of it. So the sea monster finishing off Balearic Islands. And when we were just there last August, we flew from here in Germany down to Barcelona and did a cruise to Mallorca. And so I'm thinking we're probably got an orca here because it says finishing off the Balearic Islands. And so I'm thinking this might be orca. So far it's working out for parkour, and I'm loving dead round. So I think we've got toast here because toast, if you touch my car one more time, you're toast, i.e. you're dead, and round. How about a toast? A toast to my friends from Ohio and Oklahoma. But yeah, I agree with you. There was a time when I'd rather be watching than solving these things. But after about 7 or 8 months now that I've been doing the Guardian crosswords, it's been getting a little bit better. So Old Money has Ivy League member in Clover say, and I don't know, I don't get most of that clue, but I do have enough here to put a halfpenny and a halfpenny. Yes, dear?
Is this a coupe?
It is a coupe.
Are these the ones that I had ordered that I thought were so cute online?
I don't know if those are the ones that my grandfather won in a poker game.
No, your mom has those.
But then those are the ones that you got online. But they are nice. If you want to make a cocktail with them, I'll make you one later. Sorry. Yeah, a toast. Cheers. My wife's coming in and asking questions about the crystal. I was like, oh, it's a coupe glass. We'll make a martini. Pressure on America if a shambles to all appearances, 5-5. So spectacular drop as champion hits the canvas. All these arms held up. So pressure on America if a shambles to all appearances. To all appearances is making me think Latin. So peer offering testament on seafood shortly. Shortly, peer offering testament on seafood, testament NT, maybe a quip on New Testament. So, but peer, I also think Peer Gynt, from Henrik Ibsen, the classical musical number. And if I had to guess here, one not drinking alcohol, tiniest amount of Cin-Cin spit out by duck. So that just tells me this is a Quaker, because Quakers notably do not drink alcohol, and we have tiniest amount of Cin-Cin, which would be the C that we've removed from quacker, which would be something, a quack, so yeah, that it's a stretch, but it's kind of where I think I'm going. And oh, my lovely bride is on. Cin-Cin, darling. Cin-Cin, my Shotzi. So now we've got a cue here, potentially. And so the peer offering testament on seafood shortly. I think we got to cross maybe somewhat of a double definition. So I'm thinking Peer Gynt, so maybe squint. And then a testament on seafood shortly. So I'm thinking of squint. At first, when I first started coming up with things like this, I thought that I was losing my mind. Like, there's no way that makes sense. But then you just got to put it in and then try it, right? Very soon, plague carrier brought a flame. A flame. And very soon. And so play with leading character in turmoil. Case of denial in general. Now that's what I was thinking. Exactly. It's just really crazy. Now going back here to pressure on America, if a shambles to all appearances. To all appearances, I was kind of inkling towards the Latin, so I'm thinking prima facie. When I'm doing the New York Times, it's kind of a system. It's a process, and there's just certain words you learn and and of course there's certain words that you pick up in college or books, wherever, the History Channel, wherever you get your knowledge base, right? But it's okay. So carrier brought a flame. Here you kind of got to think outside the box all the time, and so carrier brought a flame. And a flame, what do we got down here? Oh, it's going to stretch out on us. So C20, oh, good Lord. I hate it. We have to jump all over the place with these. So play with leading character in turmoil. Case of denial in general. Okay, so play with. And I've got that T and that I. So, and I know this is a word we use in the UK to twiddle with something, kind of like we Yanks might more or less be, we might say twiddling, but we almost always say tinker, where we're messing with something or playing with something, we're tinkering with it. And so, I don't know yet. We'll go down and check this real quick. This is obviously asking me. No, here we go. Particular area, part of body, doctor showed foot. Foot. Okay, so that's probably a colloquialism of some sort. I think what we have here, brought a flame. I think this might be inamorata. Speaking of that, I coined a word when I was a much younger individual. In fact, I was an undergraduate, and I was an Elizabethan poetry major, i.e. Shakespeare. And I coined the word to describe Lady Macbeth. And I used the name Iago from Othello because he was so evil. And I called her the Iago Morata. And I've seen it. I've seen it on the internet. Someone used it. I felt so proud of that. The other term I've coined is yank slap, which is how I used to describe the feeling of losing out on a Guardian cryptic. So I don't know what we got there, but inamorata might open up. And if this is, say, see this THE here, I think. Spectacular drop as champion hits the canvas. So that's... See this particular area, part of body, doctor showed, and then foot. 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 I think this might be neck of the woods, which is also something I might have said while living in Oklahoma, Zephyrus, because... well, it was all about being in my neck of the woods back then, right? So maybe good to see message about humanity originally attributed to monastery. Grant that's secured, absolutely not for the French clergy. So for the French clergy, having curbed expression 1-0 ahead of an Italian team. So I need to get something to figure out which Italian team it is. I do follow football here in European language. Used up looking at new token for beer. Deal stuffed by the sound of it. So a deal stuffed by the... You hear that all the time in my neck of the woods, definitely. Exactly. And the trick to getting better at these, for me at least, is just being happy with the handful you get right. Exactly. And I am there so often. But lately I've been getting more right than wrong, and I've been like, yeah, so now all of a sudden my ego's kicked in. Deal stuffed by the sound of it. Maybe a pact, because it does sound like it's stuffed. Ridge in black rock for insect, no idea. Used up primarily at new token for beer. The way these screens are set up, it is so different from when I'm usually recording. I swear. I can see the whole thing over here, but I'm looking at the grid I'm typing into right in front of me here, and I can see that the actual grid is there. That's so confusing to me. I'm going to put in... I've got beer there. I'm going to try Pilsner. By the way, where we live here in northern Bavaria, we are literally we're within inches, literally about an hour's drive from Pilsen, Czech Republic, which is where Pilsner beer was invented. Believe it or not, and very interesting. Party leader has admitted telling stories to lose the plot. So that's absolutely no help to me there. And having curbed expression, an Italian team, the only one I can think of that would be 5-5 would be Inter Milan. Milano. Sorry, I need to quit anglicizing stuff when I'm doing something that's calling for the Italian. Ridge in black rock for insect. And so, let's see. Sun features European article and reports. Squat, where food processor stored by operative. Squat. Wait a minute, there's something wrong with my spelling here. Excuse me. I was thinking I had something. I noticed that Pilsner's not right. Inter Milano. Inter Milan. Okay, I guess that's what we're going to get. That doesn't help any, but squat here, though. Squat. Squat. Typically, I hear stumpy for squat. And so we've got reports, which could be relays. Oh, and I don't. This insect. I think this is Coach. The worm that makes dyes. Cochareal? I can't remember how to say it. It makes a red dye. In fact, I think that's where we get the crimson dye, like for, Roll Tide, that thing. So, but I'm not going to remember how to spell it. I could try. See, Cochareal? Hi, Delphine. How are you? It's good to see you. I'm sorry. It's so weird looking at the different screens and they're not set up as usual. But I cannot remember the name of this worm that they used to make a red dye. And Cochareal? I'll just put in, so I'm sure that's wrong. I'm probably just going to lose that on that, but okay, so party leader has admitted telling stories to lose the plot. 3414. So I think we probably got A here. So it looks like maybe fly into a fly into a rage, maybe? I mean, you never know what you're going to get with these. It's just so much fun. It's good to hear, Delphine. I hope the weather is pleasant in your part. Going back up here to 12 across in your neck of the woods. Hope everything's going well. If I ever get to Perth, oh gosh, we're buying you dinner. You have been such a good trooper. Good to see message about humanity originally attributed to monastery. Okay. Do we have any help on this one now? Spectacular drop as champion hits the canvas. All these arms held up. So I think, are all these arms held up? I think we got a victory, perhaps, of some sort. But no, it's not going to be victory because we've got 8 and 5 on the clue, and yeah, I guess you can see that on the screen. So, so spectacular drop as champion hits the canvas. All these arms held up. What do we have here? Make sure, kind of check. Will claims Dick works near building site. And this looks like a brickyard to me. I don't know about you guys, but that all lines up. I just wish I knew how to spell Cochareal. Cochareal? But you don't ever spend... Victoria Falls. See how excited I get when I see something finally. That's how it would be if I ever played Wheel of Fortune. I'd be like, oh, I know, and then I'd lose a turn or something. Spin a bankrupt. Good to see. So we got 2 ends here to play with. Grant that's secured, absolutely not for the French clergy. So the clergy, I don't think it has anything with the French. I think this may just be the canonry. Good God. Canonry in general. This is really a nice grid by Paul today. It's not too terribly abstruse or serpentine. My Shotzi tells me to find new words besides circuitous and obtuse when they do work so well for this grid, really, when you think about it. Credit given to journalists via bank. I don't know about a bank, but credit given to a journalist is a byline. So that I know. Afford to listen. But I thought I knew robust yesterday. And it turns out what I was seeing was not robust. It was locust. And I really thought I had that. I'm at fault for the clue. That clue is long. It's true. Yeah, but it is. Obtuse is a wonderful word to say. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever heard about it, I was an undergrad student at Texas Wesleyan University back in the early 90s, and we watched The Shawshank Redemption. And I'll never forget Tim Robbins telling the prison warden, why must you be so obtuse? And I'm like 20 years old, and I'm like rushing to the dictionary to figure out what that word was. And I loved it, right? And I owned it at that point, right? So afford to listen to island. I'm going to stick with the island on this. I don't know. What do you think, Delphine? I think Isle of Capri. I think we just run with it and see. And, because you're an actual Australian, you kind of get the language, right? I feel like you might be our source of... we got a lot of Yanks here today, so, we got northern Michigan / Ohio and Oklahoma here, not to mention Texas in Germany. So, blue-nosed Republican in scumbag. I don't know about in scumbag. Blue nose and Republican could sound like a prig in that being, somewhat righteous and trying not to be sinful in that respect, I can see. I guess. I don't know. I mean, really, it just looks like it might be prig. Beastly and brave rule on ineffective banks. So beastly and brave, I'm thinking maybe leonine by definition. And good to see message about humanity originally attributed to monastery. And I don't think I'm seeing anything about the monastery, but I do think I see in here watchable. And I don't know. I can't move. I'm going to try to move this down to where y'all can see. And I don't know if it's going to do it. Yeah, okay. So I think it did. It'll move in a second. So I'm going to check all. I got to click the right screen. Can you confirm? And so, yeah, I do not know how to spell coach whatever. I thought it was a coach rule. So what I'm going to do, you won't be able to see me hit the word, but I'm just going to hit the reveal that word and see what it is that we've got, because I honestly don't know. Cochineal. That's right. And they make red dye. Okay. Well, yeah, Paul, this was a fantastic grid. So, yeah, I think it does deserve fireworks, but I can't do them when I'm doing the live session, so it's awful. But I am recording this so I can upload it later in case others aren't able to dial in. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Coming all the way from Ohio, the Ohio. I just love that. My friend Adam Mays, when I was in the Army, and thank you, Delphine, he was a big Ohio State fan, and the first year I got out of the Army in 2015, I think, was the year that TCU opened up with Ohio State at Jerry's World. And it was just, it was so embarrassing. He was sending pictures on Facebook with him doing the horn frog thing. He's just like, oh, I look stupid, right? Kind of, it was awful, but very, very nice. Very nice. Yes, and we got the colors up. That's very cool. Delphine, out of curiosity, what time is it right now in Perth? I mean, I'd love to know. if you wouldn't mind sharing with me so I can kind of get an idea. I really feel like I need a world clock on the wall behind me instead of an old defunct crossword grid I constructed years ago. But I really feel like I need a world clock. I mean, we've got people dialing in from everywhere all the time. You should see that. It's really crazy. So that's what it is. I just need to be able to keep a better track on that. Like I know here in Germany, I'm 7 hours ahead of Texas, Chicago, whatever. So 12:30 in the morning. Are you a night owl? Because I know where Zephyrus is at, and I feel fairly certain that Chris Johnson is also in the same central time zone. Fairly certain. So if it's 6:30 here in Germany, I feel like it's got to be 11:30 in the morning in Oklahoma and Ohio. So 12:29. Well, you are a real trooper. And maybe you're working a night shift, or maybe you just stay up at night. I don't know. But yeah, that's really cool. I think it is so cool. And I don't know where the antipode is to Bavaria, Germany, specifically Weiden and Oberpfalz, where I live here. But I have a feeling it might be really close to Australia. If we were just to drill a straight hole down, where would that come out in? I mean, no idea. But I feel like it might be around there. Oh, Ohio is Eastern time, so it's 12:30. I got it. So I'm lunchtime entertainment. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's just so interesting to see some Guardian fans from the States. I know we've got them. But just to, I honestly had never done anything with the Guardian before. One of our community members, his username is Clill Benton HWow. And he's one of those guys that just sends wonderful comments and stuff. And he's like, you really need to try the Guardian. Your vocabulary is great. You'll love that. And even as a Yank, but start small. Go with the quick cryptic or whatever I was doing. And I was really freaking out on that for the longest time. And finally, it all kind of started coming together for me. And oh, by the way, Chris Johnson, I am friends on, I don't even know how, but Miss Ohio, the former Miss Ohio, found this channel, liked it, became a subscriber, friended the Instagram account, and now I'm always automatically, in fact, every new Miss Ohio subscribes to the channel. I mean, it's like I got a direct connection with Ohio. I mean, I'm serious. I'm always like, hey, Miss Ohio, if you want to come to Bavaria, you got 3 or 4 sister cities right here, and I can show you around, and I'll even be your free translator. Man, I can at least do that for you. That's about it, but I can at least translate what we're reading here, right? So really kind of interesting. But how fun it is to see everybody. Let me move this out of the way. I don't think we need that anymore. So I can at least, I feel like now I can move around here and get a little bit of room. So fantastic. Well, Delphine, if there is anything, if you ever have any suggestions or anything that we can do to make it easier for viewing, that would be fantastic. And I can tell you right now, Clill Benton HWow, just told me to start doing these Guardians, and ever since then, it's just been amazing. Now, in the position I held before when I was in Southwest Germany for 4 years, 4+ years it seems, I was always driving to England. I was up there once a month, usually for a week at a time, and it was just constantly up there. So I just got so many friends. I'm so familiar with the area. I trained there. I was stationed with the Royal Wessex Yeomanry for a month of training in the summer of 2006, where I was a first lieutenant instead of a first lieutenant. It was kind of interesting, and I had a really good time. But it's just so nice to connect with everybody. And I got to say, the Guardian audience is just an amazing one. It's an incredible audience, right? It's so kind and so smart. If you're doing these grids every day, it says an awful lot. Chris says, Zephyr said, you're absolutely doing work. Don't look back at me, screen entertainment. Exactly. That's the way to do it. Hide that in there. I've only ever done the Telegraph and ACVX cryptics along with a couple of daily cryptics. Yeah, I've never done any of those at all. I should probably look into them. But I've really enjoyed doing, I've really enjoyed getting into the Guardian. And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but if you haven't, there is a show, and we finally started getting it on Amazon because we have a BritBox subscription. Well, we got all the subscriptions, like we're saving money by going streaming. We got every service possible. And but yeah, if you haven't seen Ludwig, it's really cool because one of the constructors, we say constructors in the States, one of the setters here, there in England, they just call them setters versus constructors. And one of the setters, his name is Ludwig, and they made a TV show where he is the twin brother of a detective, and his brother is missing, and he's got to pretend to be the detective brother. And he turned out to be a really good detective because, after all, he's a crossword setter, right? So, and I think about that all the time. And I'm glad y'all loved it. It was such a good show. I'm gonna have to introduce my Shotzi to it because I could honestly watch it a second time, the first season. But it was a fantastic show, and I often think to myself, I wonder if I'd be a good detective because I like puzzles. Probably not. Probably feel really bad for the people that were being accused and being, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I don't think I'm detective material, but it'd be kind of fun. But I'm so glad to hear that y'all enjoyed Ludwig. It's nice catching up with y'all. I mean, in serious. If reach out to the channel anytime. In fact, if you send me an email, I'm not kidding you. I've probably sent out 200 of these by now. But if you want a decal, I'll mail them anywhere in the world. You can just send me an email with your address, and I'll drop them in, send them to your P.O. box, wherever. But they're just kind of fun. Laptop, whatever. Kind of a neat thing. We're going to actually have some merch here pretty soon. We've had a mini explosion of subscribers, and it just continues to grow. And so it's been really an interesting process. But it's just so nice to get a little bit of that personal validation. We're really, really enjoying it. So I guess for that, Delphine, thank you for taking time out of your very, very late evening to join us. And then Zephyrus, Chris, man, you guys are rocking it. It's just awesome to see you. I'll look forward to it. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting it out that at 6 o'clock Central Eastern Time on Fridays is when I'll be doing the live. That way people can get on and check it out. And I'll go ahead and record this. I've got this recording, and I'll upload it. But this will also be available. I think YouTube puts it in the live stream records. So I just want to say thank you all so very much for being here. It's just such a pleasure to get to sit and actually chat with y'all. I really wish we had a voice feature for me to actually hear voices, or maybe even share faces, and like a Zoom call or something. That'd be even better. But y'all have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. Delphine, au revoir. Be well. Cheers. I'll always be smiling, I promise you. Cheers.